You know, oh yeah?
Thanks.
Yeah. This original one was written by Barry Manilow, and it was started. No, you know, there's so many people here to thank, and you know, obviously our intern, Lena, everything you've done for us, and Claire, and you know, appreciate you having us down, hearing our point of view, you vets out there. God bless you. Thank you for your service. I mean that. Lena was telling me some stuff I wasn't aware of. George Washington didn't actually attend George Washington University, is that?
Nope.
It turns out he went to George Mason, he couldn't afford it. That was, thank you very much. I joined the Army, I had no idea what I was doing in life, really. It was, you laugh, but it's true. And I was very conflicted and confused, and really didn't know what was going on, you know? And so when I decided that this was my decision I was going to make, I went to basic training. I wanted to go in the infantry because, you know, if you're going to join the Army, it's pointless to do anything else. And, I mean, really, what are we doing? You know, I'm a cook. Okay, great, making cake. But there I am, and it's really silly. And so there I am, and I decided infantry, that's what I want to do. I want to, you know, but there's no war going on. It's Kosovo, you know. And Kosovo is essentially just a big practice war that nothing will ever happen. I mean, but they would always pretend like something bad was going to happen. They'd be like, Mr. Mehmeti's chickens had been stolen. And then we'd be like, you know, like, it's go time, guys. You know, we might get to that chicken coop. I don't know what I'm going to see, okay? It could be bad. It could be real bad. And then, like, we'd get there and ghillie out and camouflage our face. Where's the chickens? You know what I mean? Jump out of a Bradley. It was ridiculous. And so when we got ready for Iraq, you know, living in the Nerf world that we were living in, man, we were ready for the fight. I mean, everyone says, you know, we didn't know what we were doing, that we rushed into war. Armored units were training for Iraq since, you know, 1995, so that's ridiculous. I mean, in a mechanized unit, I couldn't fight in Afghanistan. I was in the 1st Infantry Division out in Germany. We got to the fight, and I'll tell you what, man, you got to be careful what you wish for, because sometimes you're like, man, I just want to get to action. I just want to see a terrorist, you know? You see them on TV, NBC News and stuff, and they're like, they're nice looking guys, you know what I mean? They're out there parading, you know, a little celebration with a weapon. It's really no big deal, you know? But the first time you see a real life guy who wants to kill you, a terrorist, it's kind of like, I like zoos, you know? Like the lion, you know, the lion, the animal, he sleeps like, what, 20 hours a day, right? So if you catch him in that 4-hour window, it's a good day at the zoo, you know? You show up, you're like, hey, there's a lion. You know, he's actually alive and yawning, and you're like, this is kind of neat, you know? Seeing a real-life terrorist is exactly like that, with the exception that the lion has an RPG-7, and he shoots it at the ground to skip up, and they're cunning that way. But you're shocked. You're like, holy cow, man! There's this guy, and he's got like the weapon, and he's pointing it, and oh dear Lord, he's shooting it at us. You know, now I guess my training kicks in. You know, and now I guess I got to react to contact and do the things I have to do. But the one thing that you never ever, it automatically comes automatic. If you could say automatic twice the same. What it is, the relationship between those guys to your right and left. You know, I had 9 soldiers as a squad leader, and you know, I'm a father. So these guys, basically, I'm a surrogate father to these kids. You know, I had soldiers come to me, they couldn't even write a check. At AFES, our little department store in the military, they'd come up and they'd be like, hey, Private Ruiz bounced a check again. And I'd be like, Ruiz, what are you doing? He's like, it was $110, Sarge. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I wrote check 110. I'm like, dude, the numbers on the check have nothing to do with the amount of money you have in your account. Are you for real? I mean, how were you allowed to walk without a lacrosse helmet on? I mean, it's ridiculous. And these are my soldiers, you know? These are my guys. I'm a surrogate father to these guys. I wake them up, I put them to bed, I make sure they eat, I make sure they don't drink too much, I make sure that they're good. And now all of a sudden, I have to deliver them from the great unknown. That's a very heavy responsibility. And it was something I took very seriously. I woke up first thing in the morning, ready to roll. People talked about the war being lost. Man, every day I walked out of that wire, I thought I could win the war. Absolutely. I thought I could win the war. I didn't deploy to tie. I didn't deploy to lose. I deployed to fix the enemy and take him out, and you know what? I sleep like a baby. Like an I mean, for real. When uninterrupted, I sleep like a child. And I have no issues whatsoever. The enemy I fought was Iranian Revolutionary Guard. There's a news flash. And they're in Iraq. Who knew, right? I took passports off guys from the Philippines, Chechnya, Bosnia, France, as if you need another excuse to hate the French. They're shooting at you in Iraq. That's always fun. And let's see. I mean, all points. It was like the global all-star team of Islamist aggression. And they were out there en masse. Some of them had interpreters, you know? And my favorite is the Wahhabi. The Wahhabi, okay, the Wahhabis grow their beards down mid-navel, you know? And it's like, if you decided that you were going to be all against West, you know, branch of the Sunni religion, you want to be just totally anti-Western, everything you see you want to kill, why with the beard? I mean, you stick out. You know, it's like, you know, one of these things, not like the other. You walk in a marketplace and there's a dude, look, the bass player is ZZ Top, and he's hanging out by a falafel stand. You're like, you Wahhabi? And he's like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. It's like, what are you doing here, man? It's like, come on, like, we're not going to point. You got guys from Africa, Sudan, Mogadishu, Somalia walking around. They have their interpreters. You ask a question, they talk to a guy. Like, what is this, you know? So yeah, when I hear politicians tell me that the real terrorists aren't in Afghanistan, hey, look, man, you went to Brown Root Chow Hall. You know, you had a little steak, went to the salad bar, 6-hour Codell, right? You left. Why don't you walk on point there? You know, let's get Senator Biden, Senator Hagel, get him a Kevlar, right? IBA vest, lock and load him, and we'll walk on point. Let's do it. Grenadier, you can do it. You know, it's ridiculous. You haven't seen anything. Don't tell me what I was fighting. When I came home from Iraq, went to Fallujah, did Najaf, did Bakuba. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. It got to the point, I looked through my M68, which is like a little reflex sight. You know, it's like a little laser that no one else can see but you. And I got my weapon, and there's like a little dot in there, and you're supposed to put it on, you know, the bad guys and end them. And as I'm doing that, I'm like, man, there's like 4 guys in my little circle here. I don't know if that's supposed to happen. I don't know if they're, you know, practicing for the 3-legged race or what they're doing, but they're like, there's a lot of bad guys here. You know what I mean? It's like it was so difficult to even get a target identification or target picture because there's bad guys everywhere. There's total anarchy, you know. And yet, you know, when you come out of that, you get this. I mean, I've never done anything in my life more worthy than serving my country. It's corny, it's cliche. I'm not going to break into Lee Greenwood, but what it comes down to is that flag on my shoulder and that rifle in my hand. You know what? Everyone's all apologetic about the president saying, bring it on. You know, remember that with George Bush? He's like, bring it on. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, dude, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. Because you know what? I'm an infantryman. Well, I'm not, you know, if you want to send infantrymen to inoculate, you know, we'll vaccinate cats, don't send the infantry to do it. You want to send the infantry to get people to live together in peace and make sure that you know, gay marriage gets approved. That's not our job, man. Our job is to destroy and to fix the enemy and take them out. And we're unapologetic about that. What do you want me to? You want me to sit up here and, you know, an indictment? Why did we go to a war in Iraq? Hey, bro, I didn't have a vote, man. I didn't have a vote. Okay, I went. I was told to go, and I went. And you know what I found? Bad guys. Bad guys. Equal opportunity terrorists from all over the place. Guys who would literally blow up women and children. There was a suicide bomber not even 10 months ago. He was 2 mentally retarded. Look out. That's a little PTSD right there. He was 2. I don't want to make a joke of this. This is why I don't stand still. You're laughing, but he used 2. This is serious face. He used 2 mentally retarded girls. 2 girls with Down syndrome, and a pet market. Now look, dude, I don't care what you're about. I really don't. Diet Coke, Pepsi, whatever you want to do, man. Liberal, Democrat, pro-choice, pro-life. God bless you. Go out there, be happy, pay your taxes, and just, you know, stay out of my garden, you know. But you're going to use retarded children to push your political agenda. You are going to use retarded children. Her last words, okay, she was detonated because she couldn't come up with it, you know, to detonate herself. Her last words are, "Can I touch the puppy?" And she blows up and kills 160 people. If that's your idea of a freedom fighter, dude, pack your lunch. We're coming to get you. I don't care where you live. I don't care what you do. This is a war, And we were sent to take you out, and that's the way to pacify. If you want to negotiate with a guy who basically says, you know what, my life for those 200 people, if you think you can negotiate with that, make the coffee. I'm up all night, all right? We'll sit down and we'll have a talk, okay? You cannot negotiate using Western ideology and Western philosophy and everything. We raise our kids with what? You raise your children, you say, hey, what's the quality of life going to be, right? I want this kid to grow up. I want him to be a dentist, a lawyer. I want him to get married, have kids. I want him to have a nice house, picket fence, a couple dogs. You know, that's how we look at success in life. Our enemy is raising their children by the quality of their death. All right? How do you rationalize that? How do you rationalize with, if you're going to go out, take as many as you can with you? It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. So you know what? I wasn't there to proselytize. I wasn't there to hand out tracts for my church. All right? I was there to protect people who needed to be protected. But in 2004, the problem was so immense, we couldn't separate the enemy from the population. All right? And what a counterinsurgency is all about is protecting the population so that you can make that separation. And once the people have safety, they will trust you and they will point out the bad guys to your left and right. When I came home in 2005, there was a guy named John Murtha. I don't know if you heard of him. He's got a head the size he looks like he'd be in the Macy's Day Parade. It's the largest head I've ever seen in my life. Nothing against his character. It's just an enormous head. I mean, really, I mean, it's like his head, sometimes his head will just be around the corner. His body doesn't connect. Murtha, I come home, and Murtha's talking about the war, and he's talking about my war, and he's comparing it to Vietnam, and he's like, Bronze Star with Valor. I was a Marine in Vietnam, and Iraq War in Vietnam, and I'm like, what do you do? What? I was there. I mean, I lost 37 guys in Iraq, dude. I mean, what are you talking about? You know, you're telling me I'm not fighting the right enemy, that I'm going to lose, and I'm a cold-blooded murderer. You know, this is before Haditha, but of course he really won the lottery there. And there I am, man, and I'm listening to this guy going over and over and over again. So I take my cash, put it in my pocket, go down to Johnstown, Pennsylvania. I sleep in a Motel 6 out there, and that's a wonderful place. That's it'll make you think. You know, and I wanted to talk to John Murtha. That's what I wanted to do. I don't want to make a statement. I don't want to make a spectacle of myself. I just want to be like, what's wrong with you? I felt that I could look him in the eyes, two combat veterans, look him in the eyes and say, like, dude, you know, whatever, man. It's just you and me. You know, that's not. Let me educate you on what's going on. And slowly but surely, I met other guys, warriors, veterans, coming home, men and women, and we decided, you know what? Let's start our own thing. They're not going to listen to us. Let's take them out. Literally, if you're in Washington, you've got a seat of power, you're running on the war, and you want to cheapen my sacrifice and everything I've done, what my brothers and sisters died for, game, set, match, man. You know, 1948, John Kennedy, Gerald Ford, Richard Nixon, all came home from World War II, and they ran for Congress. 3 presidents. I'm telling you right now, in this institution of higher learning, with the amount of money that you pay, God bless George Washington, and the education that you have, I'm looking at congressmen, senators, and legislators. Who's to say we can't do it, our generation? I mean, we fought the fight. We've been through the fires of conflict. We've taken out the most evil and dedicated enemy our country's ever fought. And I mean, yeah, come on, 4,000 dead is tragic and it's horrible. But dude, I mean, this is like the 3. I mean, we're treating the enemy, absolutely. Why not us? Why not our term? So our organization, pretty much that's what we do. We stand up, educate the American people as to what we're really fighting and why we're fighting, and run candidates that agree with us. Democrat or Republican, who cares? That's what Vets of Freedom is about. Appreciate our interns. And I'd appreciate if you guys go to our website, vetsofreedom.org, and join the team. Join the team. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So I can't follow that, but